Hi everyone, today I decided to use my tiny little sketchbook by Hahnemühle. It's 2 by 2 inches or 5 by 5 centimeters, and it's the ZigZag book. They make them bigger than that, but I saw that at an art store that I went to a little while ago, and I thought it was the cutest thing. So it's an accordion sketchbook, and it has 140-pound watercolor paper in it by Hahnemühle, and that's the one that I use, I'm pretty sure, in my regular Hahnemühle watercolor sketchbook, which I really like. It is not cotton paper, but it is acid-free. A little while ago, I saw a video by Dina Norland, and it really inspired me. She was doing a 22 tiny houses challenge, and she got the idea from Ghost Buff, who did that about a year before. So the video that I watched is about a year old, and I think Dina saw Ghost Puff's prompts, which were about a year before that, so the prompts are about 2 years old. So I'm a little bit late to jump into this, but I don't care because I thought that challenge was a lot of fun and it looks really cute. I'm not going to be doing 22 houses just because I only have 18 pages in this sketchbook. So I picked the ones that inspired me the most. And in the end, I even just added my own. I just wanted to do a hobbit house, so I did one. After all, this is supposed to be a fun challenge, and there's no specific rules. I'll leave the link of Dina Norland's video in the description box, and then I think she has in her description where you can find Ghost Puff's Instagram. If not, you can just Google Tiny Houses Challenge and click on the image link, and then you'll find an image with all the prompts. Before I went ahead and started sketching in my tiny sketchbook, I used another sketchbook, and through the days when I had time, I was sketching some ideas using the prompts. I inked them, and when I had those 18 houses, then I copied them onto my ZigZag sketchbook. I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but sometimes when I do a nice sketch that I really like and I ink it and it looks really pretty and I really like it, and when I try to redo it to make a nicer one or a bigger one, or in this case, make a project of it, I often don't like the copy of what I originally did in my sketchbook, and this time wasn't any different. So I really liked the sketches that I did in my big sketchbook, and I was a bit disappointed with the sketches that I did in this one, but that's okay. I thought that because with this sketchbook I was going to put watercolor, it would make it different and it would make it look nice. So I didn't use the prompts in the same order as on the list. Like I said earlier, I kind of went with the flow and drew what inspired me the most at first. So when I was done sketching in my ZigZag book, I was going to ink all the drawings, and I had planned on using some blue-black ink. Because those drawings are so small, I thought that black ink would just overpower the whole thing and the colors wouldn't stand out as much. And then I was talking with my mom about my little project here, and then she told me about sepia color, and I thought, oh, yeah, that would look nice too. And so I ended up trying to figure out if I was going to use blue, black, or sepia. And then I just couldn't make up my mind. So I asked my daughter and she just said, sepia. So that's what I used. So I ended up using my platinum sepia ink with a very fine nib. Usually the platinum ink is waterproof, which works great with watercolor. Now for the watercolors, I use my White Night set that I just got not too long ago, and I will make a proper review video of them. But I had them handy next to me, so I decided that I was going to use those. So I use watercolors from time to time, and I like them, and I usually try to do realistic things with them, but sometimes I like to do looser paintings and sketches, and I always have a really hard time doing that. And for the first few paintings here, I think I was rushing too much and I was not thinking enough, and I was just trying to make them look more realistic than I wanted to in the end. I did a lot of wet on wet, which doesn't work super well on this paper. And I kept on reminding myself, just be simple and don't try to fuss too much. And I think also I was rushing because I was excited about this little project and I wanted to see the result and see all those little paintings in my sketchbook. But after, maybe 6 or 7 paintings, I tried to slow down and I tried to think a little bit more of how I could make it look better, because I was really not happy with the first few paintings. And so that's when I decided to just use very light washes and wait till each wash was dry. And the paint dries pretty fast on this paper. And that's probably why doing wet on wet doesn't work very well. And so once my light washes were dry, I was able to add the shadows and still making them light, just so that it wouldn't look too realistic, but nice and fun. And I really enjoyed doing the rest of the paintings from then on. Some I liked better than others. I think I totally messed up my bat for the haunted house. It looks more like the Batman symbol when he's summoned. But all in all, I had a lot of fun. I had fun sketching all those little houses. I really loved the format. It was so cute, and I really liked that. And once I got in the groove of doing those light washes, and I flipped over my sketchbook, then I started painting like 2 or 3 at a time, and that helped me as well, because then I was able to let the big area dry while working on another painting, and that way I went faster, but without rushing each painting. I don't know if that makes any sense. Also, by doing that, I ended up using a lot of the same colors in all the paintings, which made that side a little bit more coherent, and I think it looks really nice. Now, I realized that I painted a lot of trees. I used a lot of green, but it was really good practice, because I always have a hard time painting trees and any greeneries when I try to paint plein air. But by the time I was done with this project, it made me more confident that I could actually go back outside and do something pretty nice rather than something too restricted and just trying to be too realistic. Also, the one prompt that I added, the Hobbit house, ended up my favorite painting in the end. I'm really pleased with how it turned out and how all those trees and the grass and everything turned out. My favorite paintings in the end are the last 4 that I did. I think that by then I had painted a bunch of them. I had painted 14 of them. So I was really getting into it, and I was nice and warmed up, and I liked my choice of colors, and I think it was a lot of fun. The last house is my dream house. I'd love to have not a small one, but not a big one, a log cabin. I think those are just the most beautiful houses. I don't want a fancy house. I want something roomy, but a bit rustic as well. And I want peace and quiet. Maybe near a lake somewhere. I don't know, in nature, but not too far from a largish town. I don't know if I'm asking too much, but that's my dream house. So have you ever tried to do a challenge like that? Just do a bunch of sketches and paintings just to practice. I think for me it was a great practice, and I did learn a lot doing that. I learned how to pace myself, how to think before I put the paint down, and how to do things simply, basically. Alright, now, the question for you. I've got 2. What's your favorite one? And the second question is, what's your dream house? Alright, that's it for today. Thank you all for stopping by. If you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, please consider subscribing to this channel. And remember to click on that little bell to know next time I upload a video. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye bye.